It's Mental Health Monday with Hope, a sanctuary where hearts can find solace. Together, we stand strong, united in our journey, discovering the strength within ourselves. Have no fear, for we're not alone.
Fine, but something about the microphone. We're here.
All
We're
right,
live.
the
We're good.
microphone is on.
Yeah, we're on. We can be heard.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mental Health Mondays with Hope. I am Hope, and this is Kendall. And today we are going to discuss whether or not mental health issues changes.
Hit on to that point about the stress, and a lot of people have different kind of stress. There's all kind of stress. It's not like stress is not like contained to a particular box.
Right.
So I mean, you can have stress driving back and forth to work.
Sure.
That can be a very stressful thing.
Absolutely.
Stress doesn't always have to be something of a traumatic nature. So, what I want to know is what actually causes you to have that stress. Is it something chemical, or is it something that actually happened or physical?
I mean, it could be either. It could really be either. Some people just don't do well, driving in lots of traffic or what have you. So, that could be just something with that person, whether they normally have some anxiety and then that causes the additional stress for driving. They could have other mental health issues that make them feel more paranoid or more like doomsday-ish, that they feel that something bad is going to happen all the time. But it could just be the fact that some people do not like city driving, highway driving, what have you. I do not like to ride my motorcycle on the highway. That's very stressful for me when I do that. But give me some back roads, I always wear my helmet, but feeling that breeze, then it's the opposite. It's very soothing and relaxing for me. So sometimes the actions that we do are either curative, meaning bringing us peace, or they add to our stress level. And then, we're talking about whether or not, mental health issues changes the trajectory of our life. So let's say we do have that anxiety, that stress about driving, highway driving, or what have you, and your jobs, your better paying jobs, are in the city, or in New Jersey. You got to drive the highway. You're not on the commuter bus. We have to take the highway. So in that respect, that stress, that anxiety could change the current trajectory of your life, because you may choose to take a job that's closer so you don't have to do the traveling, which most likely would equate to less money.
And that may be another stress because
Sure.
of the financial end of it. I mean, but here's the question.
Mm-hmm.
So I hear the word stress. Can you tell me pretty much a breakdown of a definition of what it means to have stress? Or
I mean, stress is just a response to something that is out of the norm for us. So, I mean, stress can be in any given situation, but it's how we react to that stress, how we handle that stress. Some people, we talk about the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn.
right.
When when it comes to trauma and PTSD and stress and anxiety. So, one thought of fight is you don't want to acknowledge that you're having that situation. So maybe that's where, because it's in such an instant and you're not even making a connection that you're becoming angry is related to how this situation stresses you out. So you might lash out at people.
So if, let's say you're a person, you got stress,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes I think people don't even realize
Nope.
that they carry the stress around with them.
Absolutely.
So that you name someone who causes. So what would the effect be of having the stress? Is it physical?
Oh,
Are they mental?
absolutely. It could be all of the above.
Right. Causes and effects. Physically, how would it affect me physically? I know it's going to affect me mentally.
Right.
Physically, what does stress, how does that
high blood pressure?
Okay.
It affects your blood pressure, it affects your heart rate, affects the cortisol, which is a chemical, and that causes.
You got to speak English to me.
Sorry, it's so it causes us to potentially like store fat around this area, not like the lower belly area, but like the higher abdominal area.
Was that virtual fat or visceral fat?
Visceral fat, and it's and that's where our organs are. So then that puts pressure on our organs. So in that respect, it can all be very medical, and stress over time. So we talked, I think a few weeks ago, we talked about chemical imbalances in the brain, and how the serotonin is supposed to go out through the cells, and it's not supposed to get absorbed back in. It's supposed to go out to make everything help work. So if we have prolonged stress, that can throw off that serotonin in our brain, which can then cause further, medical depression. To me, a chemical imbalance is medical. So there are many things, but it also, besides the medical of your heart, your blood pressure, and things like that, there's people hold stress in their shoulders. So now you hurt.
Get that tightness.
Tightness across your shoulders, that tightness in your back.
Yeah.
You feel fatigued.
I've been there.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. So stress can come out in many different ways. And stress for one person may not be the same as stress for another person. Meaning two people have the same scenario happen to them.
Right.
And one person may be able to handle stress more than another individual, or it may not stress them out. I'm one of 7 children. Between my brother, who is the oldest, and my youngest siblings, there's 11 years. So, in 11 years, there were 7 of us born.
All right.
And my mom, of course, it could be stressful. You got 7 running around, and 2, there was a set of twins in there. But my mom handled it very, very well. But then she tells stories about how she has listened to moms, saying, oh my gosh, I have 2 kids. I have 3 kids. I'm so stressed out. I don't know how to keep up with them. So, my mother, in a situation with 7 children, did not have the same stress as some of these women that she spoke to that had 2 or 3 children. So it depends on your definition of stress, because everybody's definition is different, but it also depends on what is your life history. My mom had a lot of trauma when she was young.
I was going to ask you, is it environmental?
Oh, sure. It can absolutely be environmental.
Because the stress that you talk about, I don't know. I see different type of stress. Like you got a young mother who may have a son, 2 sons. She's living in a particular neighborhood, and her stress is when her son goes out at night, whether he's going to come home or not.
Absolutely.
Her stress is when she goes out to the grocery store, somebody going to, try to do something nefarious to her.
You're right.
So, I mean, how do people, how do you survive with such stress? How do you do it?
Right. I think talking about it to other people is
really?
That's very helpful.
No way.
But so that
don't worry. See, we had a little
we had a
little conversation,
pre-session.
I can't stand to use the word conversate, but we were conversing, and that was one of the questions that I had asked her: is what was the best way in order to convey your stress, or even maybe to help give you some therapeutic relief. And that was the talk.
Absolutely, it was.
That was the talk.
So I will share it. So
no, you won't.
No. I will share this.
Oh, okay.
When people are in a stressful situation,
trying to tell my business.
No, I'm not telling your business on here. Right. Sometimes when people are in a stressful situation, they don't tell other people because they just don't know what to say. They're also afraid that their emotions would take over and they would just be a blubbering idiot and not be able to get any of it out. And because they already feel the lack of control over what is happening to them. And they don't want to then feel the lack of control over their emotions in that situation. And that's also, like, I see a lot of posts on social media that say, hey, you know, I'm always here for you. If you're depressed, you can always reach out to me. But someone who is in the throes of depression is not thinking about that. There are blinders on when you're in a situation like that. My advice is keep being a pain in that person's butt.
So what is that? Some sort of denial that the people have under stress?
It's not a denial. It's just, you know, just the feeling of being overwhelmed that you just don't know which direction to turn.
Now, those people like that, they have a tendency maybe to lash out at other people.
Well, so that, I mean, that could be one of the, you know, the fight, flight, you know, freeze or fawn. So, you know, if they're super, super stressed out, I mean, we see it all the time with our friends and family members, right? You know, somebody just lashes out at you all of a sudden and they're like, whoa, where did that come from? And then maybe they'll come back later. They'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I've been really stressed out. So, I mean, that obviously, you know, that is a response.
In my experience, that's somebody who was a little inebriated. They end up doing that. They lash out at you, curse you out, and then later on, you know, I didn't actually mean to do that.
Right.
Alcohol talking.
Well, so listen, there are some people that say that when people are drunk, they speak the truth. Right. So I don't know.
Yeah, this kind of sounds like, hey, I'm under a lot of stress, and I'm going to utilize the stress I have as an excuse for my actions.
Absolutely. But alcohol does exacerbate that because when you're drinking, your inhibitions go away. So on a normal day, if you're stressed out, you might not lash out at a person, but because the alcohol has, you know, kind of dropped your defenses down, that normally you would say, hey, it's not right to do that. You know, the alcohol takes that thought process away.
I could tell you this, you get into one of those, what do you call it, overwhelming moods. And then you start to lash out because now you get angry. And then once you start to get angry, then the adrenaline kicks in.
Oh, absolutely.
And then once that kicks in, you're kind of like almost blind.
Yes, that's true.
You're definitely like in a rage. So you end up doing things that you may not normally do because of stress.
Right.
So now, but there's other kind of stress where you're not lashing out.
Right.
But you're angry. Like I'll give you, for instance, the guy that supposedly went after the president last. I mean, do you think he was stressed out? Or how about the guy that shot the guy that from the health care?
Right.
United Healthcare.
I mean, I don't know, you know, if that would be just a common definition of stress, because people are stressed out all the time and they don't go shooting people. I mean, that's a combination, you know, that's a combination of so many different things. And, you know, maybe they feel they're at their wit's end. Maybe they have other, you know, personality disorders that they have a lesser ability to tell right from wrong, you know, meaning social norms, right from wrong. And I think in general right now we have a lot where, you know, the social norms are not what they used to be, like the way, because of social media, the way people talk to each other on social media. You know, I often think, I wonder if they would say that to my face.
Well, we usually call it being politically correct, but they've kind of taken that out of the picture.
Well, no,
you don't have to have respect for one another. And then the like you say, the social media, it's kind of like this mask that you can hide behind.
Right, absolutely.
You can say what you want whenever, and you don't have to worry about anybody knowing who you are. You know, you can just be some avatar. And you don't have to apologize. No, you don't.
When somebody corrects you, and like I was reading a post, and it's Pride Month, and it was about, you know, why do they have a whole month when the military only has like one day or something like that?
I didn't know the military had a day.
The military has more than a day. There's, you know, a few different months. May is a month. November is a month.
I never knew that.
Some like Armed Forces Week. I mean, it comes out to be a lot, right? You never knew that because the media doesn't play that up. I don't know why. I don't know why. It's only a few things. It's like Armed Forces Day, Memorial Day, Veterans Day.
Well, Veterans Day, I know we have Veterans Day and Memorial Day.
But there are a lot. So I did the Google research, and I don't Google research from, just using any old source. I make sure that they're reputable sources. And, so I responded back to the post. And, like for me, if I had something wrong on social media and someone corrects me, I thank them for the education.
No, you're not everybody.
That's true.
Okay.
And, the follow-up response from this person was, that, people being gay is a personal choice. Sorry. This was the post. And that, they shouldn't have a full month to celebrate that. They should just have a day. So it didn't matter. Like this person's original argument was, why doesn't the military have? And I feel that social media, government does that to us. They want to pit one against another. So who is the best person to use other than a veteran, other than the military?
Which one is the fool? The fool or the one that follows the fool? Who is the bigger fool?
Well,
so here it is. You got the media, you got all these other people. I would say this: Martin Luther King Jr., I think he said it best. You have those people that are ignorant. They are sincerely ignorant. Ignorance meaning I don't know. Right. I just don't know.
Right.
Now the media is the conscientiously stupid. And I say that because they know better.
Right.
And they know better, but yet they continue to do what they do because it's a matter of ratings.
Well, what was that song back in the 80s? Dirty
money.
Laundry?
Yeah, well, the media that brings money. You get thousands of millions of people that watch it, and then you have certain people that will watch it and believe what they see, what they hear.
Right.
And I'm not going to get along that Trump train and talk about fake news. We still need the media. We still need to be able to have information be exchanged back and forth.
Right.
But even then, watching the news can be very stressful.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
Steve, you watch the news nowadays, you don't know how much the price of gas is going to cost you. You don't know how much bread is going to cost. You don't know if your rent is going to go up. And if you're homeless, could you imagine that stress?
Right.
Because if you think about it, being homeless in this country now because of this administration, you are default a criminal.
Sure. Absolutely. So going back to, whether or not mental health can change the trajectory of our lives, there are situations with homeless individuals that are homeless because of mental health issues. But then we have programs, good programs, like Street to Feet in Monroe County is a great program.
Yes, it is.
And they work with individuals.
That's Monroe County, Pennsylvania. Okay. Yeah.
And they work with individuals and, try to help them out of homelessness. And they obviously, of course, have success stories, but there are also non-success stories. And that then all comes, first of all, to what is the level of mental health or mental illness, and what is the individual's, this is where these individuals have a choice. Do they want to, work on themselves, within themselves, or are they okay? And I'm not saying that as a judgment or anything negative. Some mental health disorders are very difficult to work through to get to a level of wellness in order to be productive.
Oh, here's the question. We talk about being productive, right? So in order for, I don't know, let's say I make clocks or whatever I do for a living. In order for it to be successful, things that I am going to have is resources.
Sure.
People, staff, doctors, lawyers. So if we're living in an age like now where they've taken away those resources, and instead of giving you resources, they've given you incarceration.
Right.
And that doesn't help.
Incarceration to privately owned, penal systems.
So here it is. We have a system that's, again, making money, earning money off people in need.
Right. Absolutely. It's It's a story as old as time. I
And
mean,
they blame them for.
always.
I've heard people blame the poor people for being poor.
Right.
I've heard them blame homeless people for being homeless. I've heard them. You're just lazy. You don't want a job.
Exactly.
You're lazy and you don't want a job. Really? That's.
Have you been following Mayor Mondami in New York City with everything that he's doing?
Some of it.
So, he's putting money into programs, and the crime rate in New York this last quarter was the lowest it has been in a very, very, very long time.
That's bad for business. Don't you know that?
What's that? The lower crime?
Yeah, don't you know that's bad for business?
Yeah, I know, I get it, but he is doing things that he is setting a precedent. He is creating a model.
Honestly,
we should all be following.
I hope I hope no one tries to take him out because of it. Look.
Listen, that does tend to happen when people are doing
Luther
good.
King, they didn't bother Martin Luther King during the whole time that he was marching for this and that. When he stopped and said, well, let me start helping some of these other people.
Right.
Let me say something about the Vietnam War. Let me talk about the situation with the sanitation and union workers. Pop got to take him out.
Right.
Malcolm X, all of these things that he went through, he said this, he said that. Right as soon as he said, well, maybe we need to come together, right, after going to the UN, that's when he gets taken out. So I'm just hoping Mondami gets to stick around like that as well.
Right.
Because I hope they don't take him out.
Right.
You know? And I'm gonna tell you something. For all you Nick lovers, today's the day.
Yep.
It's game 3. And the only thing that's gonna be bad about them playing in New York is you're gonna have that damn Mr. Orange Man there.
Oh.
And that's going to kind of mess it up for everything. Did you see the prices for a seat?
Oh my gosh, ridiculous. Ridiculous. Who can afford that?
And this again is where the stress comes in. People can find all of this money. I mean, tons of money.
To go to a basketball game.
But they can't. The guy walking down the street, I don't have a home. I need medical. I need this. I need that. Nah, we don't have any money for that. Right. I don't understand the society.
Right.
It's like we got a government that doesn't want to take care of you. They don't care. They just looking to make money on you. And then we got the people that are millionaires, billionaires, or whatever. They spend the money to go watch a basketball game, but they won't send any money to people in need. That's got to be stressful.
Well, absolutely. I mean, everything, and people that recognize what is going on feel stress, and people who are think the opposite of the people who know what's going on, the people who are woke. People who think opposite of them feel stressed as well, just for different reasons.
I'm woke.
You're woke. I'm woke.
I'm woke. Being woke means that I'm aware.
Yes.
Being woke means that I'm not asleep.
That's true.
So why would I want to be asleep?
No. I could use some sleep.
A little bit, but I don't want to be sleeping when they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
No, that's not even sleepwalking. I got my eyes closed, I'm knocked out, and they're taking every red cent and dime that they can get from me.
I know, which is stressful.
And then when I wake up, see, their idea of waking up is to have this segregation and this division between everyone. The rich, the poor, the black, the white. Right. They will bring every social construct they can, put it in there and put us against each other. They'll tell you things like, well, Social Security is a safety net. Mm-hmm. You know how long I've been paying Social Security?
Ever since you've been working.
What is that? That's not mine?
I
didn't make my contribution.
You've been putting it in there. Hopefully they've been investing it.
I wish I would have put that much into a damn investment.
Right.
Just imagine if I could have taken what I had all these years when I paid into Social Security and I put it into an investment.
Right.
You know how much money I would have?
A lot.
A whole lot.
So now let me ask you a question. Mm-hmm. We talk a lot about the differences that you see being a black man, mm-hmm. and that I see being a white woman.
And please, no, I don't speak for every black person.
No, I know, but these are just conversations
some
that
of this
we
is
have.
based off opinion,
right?
And based off my experience.
Sure. Okay.
So,
being a black man and just like sharing the story that you shared earlier about the mom's stress being different, mm-hmm. Wondering if her kid's going to come home alive. Has any of the reactions that you receive as a Black man played a role in any mental health issues, stress or otherwise for you?
Oh, you mean like trying to go get a job and either you're overqualified or underqualified? Or what do you mean? You're on a job and you train the guy to be your boss? Or you mean you go to school and the teacher would tell you, you need to learn how to push a broom because that's all you're going to be able to do? Nah, no stress at all. Yeah. I mean, just living in a particular neighborhood, I guess it's like any other neighborhood. I think Italians have the same kind of ideology. This is my neighborhood.
Right.
And you're not going to come in here. You're not going to do what you want to do in my neighborhood. All right. Now, growing up where I grew up, of course, during the 60s and into the 70s, it was a big drug habit, big drug problem. And the drugs that they had was heroin.
Right.
You would see the guys walking down the street.
Right.
I got to tell you, I guess to most people who didn't live in their neighborhood, that might be something stressful. But I guess to us, it was just what you saw
every day.
When you wake up and you see that. Gun shootings, people getting killed. I mean, if you really didn't know them, it kind of didn't bother you. It's just, well, on Friday night, so-and-so got shot.
Right.
I guess the most stress that I've had to deal with as a Black man, not dealing with people like myself, people other than myself, people who looked at me and they looked at the cover and didn't read the book. Now dealing with my own people, I have some issues, but I understand why we're in the situation that we're in. I understand a lot of it was due to brainwashing, propaganda, lies, emulation. I understand that his story instead of history.
Right.
I understand why we are the way we are, and a lot of us think the way that we think. But other than that, we got those outside issues that we still got to deal with. How can we fix what we have inside of ourselves when we're still fighting what's out there? Right. Every time my son goes out, either one of my sons, my daughter, if they're walking out, they're out late at night, I worry. I got a son that's well in his 40s, damn near 50 years old, and I still worry about him going out in the street.
But your worry for your son going out in the street is different than my worry for my daughter, who's 36 years old, going out.
Well, not nowadays. I can tell you that now, because like I try to explain to people, a lot of that was a social construct, that black and that white shit. It's all about money. And I'm going to tell you, when there's not enough money, people do the fight or flight thing, which means I ain't got no money. What am I going to do? How am I going to make this money? And it don't matter if you're black or white. You turn into Bonnie and Clyde in a minute. And you got to do what you got to do in order to survive. Like I keep trying to tell people, most people in this country want to do, they just want to have a job.
Right.
They want to have a home. They want to be able to raise their kids. Yeah, that's it.
Right.
And they're not asking for all this other political stuff. I don't think most people give two shits about whether somebody's gay or not. To tell you the truth, that's something that politics is pulling.
Absolutely.
In. And that's where
pushed on people.
That's where the stress is coming from. Because if we could just say, what do you want? If everybody just close their eyes and say, what do you want? I want to raise a family. I want to have a decent wage. I want to live in a decent home.
Right.
Besides the crazy I wants, just the normal, regular survival day. When I wake up in the morning, I send my kid off to school. I don't want to worry about whether some knucklehead is going to go in there and shoot up the school.
Right.
Because he felt so.
Right. Right.
He woke up in the morning and made a decision going to school. He shoots up everybody. That's not what I want. Right. I want my kid to go to school and be safe. I want my child to receive an adequate education without all the stress. I don't want my kid to go to school and have somebody look at him and say, you know what? I don't like your hairstyle. And that becomes the big issue. Not what's under the brain in here, but his hair becomes the big issue. I don't want that. You see? So that's what it's like growing up as for me in this society.
Right.
Okay.
I don't know if I ever shared with you my stress. I coached basketball at an inner city school. And I live in rural, Pennsylvania. And
hey, me too.
And so, but I have run, I'm retired now, the basketball program here in my community. And, when basketball practice is over, the parents are waiting outside to pick up their child from the school. And we stayed outside, we watched. We like to have, especially, if they're younger, the parent actually walk in to walk them out, and they typically do that. So that was what I was used to, as a coach here in rural Pennsylvania.
Then you went to the city.
Then I went to the city. And the biggest thing initially, and I'm just going to say this, was being able to pronounce everyone's names. And being the only white person there. But I play basketball and I coach basketball. And I coach from a feminist perspective.
They actually have a feminine and a male perspective. Okay,
no, like a
basketball,
like a feminist, meaning helping the girls find their power.
Oh, so empowerment.
Empowerment. So there were no issues there. I love these kids, and they love me. They end up calling me white chocolate, but
I know that one. Okay, I got you.
But what was difficult for me, stressful for me, is that they all got on city buses after basketball practice to go home. That freaked me out.
Yeah, my daughter
freaked me out. There was nobody there, no parent there to greet them. So that was stressful for me. And they laughed at me because, again, their life was different than mine. But I learned from them. I'm like, I understand this. I understand that, you live in the city and this is what you do. I get it. But, I'm not only your mom, your coach, I'm a mom. So y'all need to text me when you get home that I know you got home safely.
My daughter, I think she was riding the city bus since she was about 8, 9 years old. She used to go to Louis Armstrong. So they get a gift at school out there in Queens. And she used to take the city bus. Right.
But they laughed at me. But, and it's the way you say it, too. It's like, look, I get it. I know that this is what you do. It's nothing, I know it's not, it's not a big deal for you because this is what you do all the time. But coming from where I come from.
Now, here's the stress of it. So those kids that we get on the subway or whatever to go home, they go home in groups. You know what the other people would consider them, right? A gang.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah. Here they come again.
Yeah.
Look at them. And as they're leaving school, wanting to go home, especially if it's a bunch of young men and they happen to walk past certain particular people, they're snatching their pocketbooks.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Grabbing their husband. So even going back and forth to school becomes a stressful thing.
Yeah.
And Lord help you if you're by yourself and going to one of those neighborhoods where you're not welcome.
Right.
Oh, boy.
So does that stress, which can be considered, a mental health issue, change the trajectory of our lives?
It would change well, let's put it like this. Without the stress in my life, I probably would not have committed any crimes. Because the things that pushed me towards committing a crime was because of all the stress that I received in my life. The mental abuse, the physical abuse, those type of things.
Right.
The lack of maybe having a parent stand there waiting for her child to get off the bus. Didn't have that.
Right.
Didn't have Johnny. We didn't have that.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a book, pretty good book. It's called There Are No Children Here. You might want to check it out. That's the actual title, name of the book.
That sounds awesome.
And it kind of talks about young African Americans in an urban setting, but it's called There Are No Children Here. And that's kind of how I felt growing up in the city. Didn't have a chance to be a kid.
Okay. I get that. So now let me ask you, whatever you feel comfortable sharing, when you when you were young, like, did you have thoughts of what you wanted to be when you grew up?
Nah, because pretty much I didn't think I'd make it to 18.
Okay.
So my aspirations, okay, let me not say that.
I understand what you're saying, though.
My biggest love was art.
Okay.
Used to love to draw. Yeah. Matter of fact, there was a young lady.
He still does draw, by the way.
But there was a young lady. She went to School of Art and Design. I applied. I couldn't get in. I didn't pass. The girl that did pass couldn't draw.
Huh.
I would draw all her homework, and the teacher would rave about how great it was. But I couldn't pass to get in. But she could.
Maybe the teacher thought you were copying her.
Maybe I couldn't read or write as well as I should have.
Yeah, well, yeah. So your stress and your, criminal activities did change the trajectory of your life.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, but sometimes Tupac said it best. I never did a crime I didn't want to do.
Right.
I didn't have to do. Anything I did was to, I don't know, a new pair of shoes for me, myself and my brother at the time was, you got the sneakers, you got the holes in them.
Right.
Okay, so a piece of cardboard, that was our new pair of sneakers. You understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there were times that the rent had to be paid. It had to be paid. Who's going to pay it?
Right.
Okay. Most men that were in and out of our lives, they were just there to abuse, hit it once or twice, and get up out of there. They were not there for the long haul,
right.
or even looking to establish of taking care of a family. So that didn't exist.
Right.
So, and then my mother, she was on public assistance. She had her issues. So it wasn't flowing with money. But the bills had to get paid. You had to get food put on the table. And going down to the church once a month, you went with the shopping cart. They filled it up, right? Yeah. That's what you want. That didn't last no month.
Right.
Okay, so as you got older, people would come to you and they, hey, look, I got an opportunity for you. I think it started off with me running numbers. Most people today don't even know what that is. They call it lotto, right? Okay, so that's what we ran numbers.
Right.
And as you get older, you get more offers, this offer, eventually, and you get caught. Everybody can make crimes, eventually you're going to get caught. It's going to be put out there. So when I got caught, I went from one institution to another institution until I finally ended up in a place called Spofford. And Spofford, I met a young lady. I'm not going to say her name, but I'm very glad to have met her. She was an educator. Now, see, I know you got people who are teachers.
Right.
She was an educator.
Right.
You got
there's a difference. Sure, absolutely.
To me, there's a difference.
Absolutely.
She had the passion. She cared. So what she had me do was take an exam, written. Of course, I didn't pass.
Right.
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 So she came and gave me that same exam, but oral. She says, I don't know why you didn't pass this test. And she's went a little further, found out I got developmental dyslexia. And life changed for me after that, if you want to say. I started reading everything I could. But just imagine being a kid growing up and you got to go through the stress of not being able to read or write.
Right.
I can't see you.
Oh.
Just keep talking.
So we're shuffling around here.
Just keep talking.
So when we talk about that, and not that there's anything wrong, there's no judgment whatsoever about public assistance because it's there for a reason. So would you say that if your experience was being on public assistance, that's how you grew up, are you on public assistance now?
Of course not. But
and not that it it's
well, I shouldn't say of course not, because
right.
The thing about the public assistance, especially with the neighborhood, you want to talk about stress, circulatory, goes round and round.
Oh, absolutely.
You will find that the mother was on public assistance.
Sure.
Because
we call it generational.
Generational. It just keep going round and round. Now,
right.
Some people, they can get off the bandwagon.
Right.
I know people of today.
But that comes to the
have never left Brooklyn.
Freeze. Right.
They lived in Brooklyn all their lives and have never, ever once left Brooklyn. So,
I feel that about some people who live in Carbon County.
I just changed this battery. Okay, so look, we're starting to go into this technical difficulty stuff. So it's getting on my nerves. So I'm gonna cut this short. We're going to say thank you guys for coming in.
Sorry for the technical difficulties, but we will follow up with this again because it was a good combo.
You know what they say about radio? This is what I like about radio. This is what I've heard. So you can't see the people behind the mic.
Right.
So what they would call radio is the theater of the mind.
Mm.
So as you go through this, like we're going through this little technical difficulty, I think I know what the problem is. The camera has to be reset.
Okay.
But this gives you an opportunity to actually have that theater of the mind,
right?
Where you get an opportunity to speak, people get an opportunity to listen.
To just listen. There's nothing to look at.
Listen. They don't need to look at you or any of that stuff. So at this particular point, I'm going to say I apologize.
Yeah, no worries.
Our viewers.
I'll just end.
And there is a young lady I want to say hello to.
Okay.
two of them, and because they do watch the show and they actually look for you.
Oh, thank you.
You got fans.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Okay, one of them, her name is Bunny.
Hi, Bunny.
Her name is Bunny Lynn.
Hi, Bunny Lynn. Thank you.
And the other one, her name is Judy.
Judy, thank you.
That would be Miss Judy McCall.
Miss Judy McCall, thank you so much. Right. I appreciate you.
And all the other people that like to tune into this station and this network, we greatly do appreciate it. And we hope that you continue to do so. Please subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. Nope. It's kind of free. And remember, we have other shows here, so we are trying to reach multiple demographics of people. On Tuesday, which will be tomorrow, how about that? That will be our Politics Day, and that will be with Stevenson and Yates. And we ask you guys to tune in, and because Yates, he's something else.
I don't know. You can give it out too.
Yeah, but Yates does his thing. And on Wednesday, I slide back in again with the Empowerment Show. And
which is where I started with you.
Which is where you started. This week we're gonna have Miss Tyra Probst.
Awesome.
And she's gonna step in. She got some things to say about politics.
Good. State Representative Tyra.
And she's a state representative, so don't look for too much from the federal. We kind of stick to what's going on here in the states, the state of Pennsylvania. And then Thursday we have Daughters of the Divine Joy, and that would be with Miss Diane Butts.
Was that your vocal theater there?
You didn't notice?
Yeah, that was great. That was wonderful.
Yeah,
so before we sign off, I just wanted to say, which we would have gotten to there at some point. Drum roll, please. Our mental health issues can change the trajectory of our lives, but does it control the outcome?
Yes, of course it controls the outcome.
How
can it not?
Well,
I get into a car wreck. Do you think that changes the outcome?
No. We absolutely, but we can choose what we do with it. What did you say earlier? You said that you thought that you wanted to do something with art. What do you do today, all these years later?
Well, I do it because I have the opportunity to do it. You see, even though I wanted to do something, here it is. This is a saying that we picked up. You do the things you have to do in order to do the things you want to do. Now, because I've had children, I've had a wife, and I had other responsibility to take precedence over my wanting to do art.
Right.
Now, I could tell most people when you have children, whatever it is that you want to do.
Oh, yes. Back burner.
Forget about it.
Right.
Okay. Just forget it. Well, they say forget about it. So everything else.
Sorry to my Italian friends.
now you have to put in mind, I got to take care of these children. I got to take care of this wife. I just getting out of high school. I already got a kid. Yes, I can read at the time. I can write at the time, but still, I only have a high school diploma. I got to get a job. I got to provide housing. What do I do? And drawing didn't bring in any money like that.
Right.
It wasn't enough to bring in money. I mean, I worked at Macy's. For those who know what Macy's is, there was another store called Gimbel's, which I know you don't know what that is. But I worked at the different department stores, and I ended up working in the movie theater. And after the movie theater, I guess that was it. I was on my way into the military after that. After being incarcerated again, because I had to go get, believe it or not, I had to go get some Pampers.
Yeah.
Didn't have the money.
Nope. I had
to get them Pampers.
Well, yeah, baby needs diapers. Baby needs to
get them. Well, that cost me a trip to Rikers. Now when I got
Rikers, woo.
Yeah, well, but when I got in front of the judge, we had a little conversation.
Sure.
I had a decent lawyer. Even though it was a city lawyer, I had a decent lawyer. And he gave me a choice.
Right.
You go into the military or you can slide on back into prison.
Right.
Of course, I chose the military. Again, going into the military, that was another change of life. You see? All right. So, and what I could say is life to me is like a book. You go from one chapter to another.
Absolutely.
Now that middle chapter may not be anything like the beginning chapter.
Right.
Okay. So.
And that's exactly how it should be, is that everything is a chapter, not the entire book.
Really?
Everything's
somebody should have told you that. All right, we're gonna end with that, and we're gonna get up out of here. Thank you guys.
And
very
thanks
much.
for tuning in.
All
Please
right.
tell all your friends.
Don't forget, this is Hope Show.
Mental Health Mondays with Hope and Kendall.
You're funny. Okay, here we go.
It's Mental Health Monday with Hope, a sanctuary where hearts can find solace. Together, we stand strong, united in our journey, discovering the strength within ourselves. Have no fear, for we're not alone.